In this video, I'm going to talk about a daylighting and shading analysis section. And you can see here I've created a section. All I did was go in, create a section, then clip that down to just two bays of our floor plan. And so now what I'm trying to show is how the architectural elements that I put in here shade and reduce light into the space and control the daylighting and produce the daylighting. So I'm not going to go through and actually draw this out for you, but what I'm going to do is show you the elements, why I put them in there, and what I used them for. You'll see three basic elements in here. There'll be what is called a masked region or a filled region, annotation lines, and then text. And basically this whole drawing is made from there. So let's just zoom in a little bit further so we can see some things. The first thing I did was poche all the walls, window walls and stuff like that, so that reduce the amount of detail. Here I have a mesh wall that I designed earlier, and you can see the mesh wall that I created and the curtain wall right here. And so that's what I'm showing in this view here. So I'm going to go back to here. So I used a series of masked regions. You can see their basic shapes here, okay, or filled regions. I'm sorry, I keep calling them masked regions, but they're really fill. And that's in annotation under regional, and you'll fill region, right? And I can click fill region, and it'll allow me to draw a shape. I'll just draw one out here. Any kind of shape that I want, for the most part. Okay, and that shape then is going to be filled when I check this, and it's going to be filled with the definition over here. And as you can see, there's a number of existing filled regions that I created. I created a yellow wave, which is the wavy lines in here, a solid fill, opaque, and so I just have a whole series of different solid fills basically that I did. And let's just accept this diagonal crosshatch so that you can see what that is. Okay, and so this is a diagonal crosshatch. Okay, and so it puts a crosshatch in that fill, and because it's a fill, it covers up everything in front of it, right? And there's some control as to what is in front and what is in back, but not a whole lot of control like there is in, say, Adobe Illustrator or Photoshop. And then, of course, I'm going to click on this, and I'm going to come back and make it a solid black, for instance, and just show you some of the things that you can do with that. So if I go into, select this again, and go into edit type, you'll see, and I'm going to go ahead and duplicate this and call it solid example. And I made the background opaque so that other things wouldn't show through. So let's change its color. Okay, so I'm going to go in here and once again edit the type, and let's change it to, I don't know, green, and say okay, apply. Okay, but that's opaque. The line around it is you can change the width of that if you want, of course. There's not a whole lot of things you can do like you can in Photoshop and Adobe Illustrator, but there are some basic things you can do for a fill. And so all I did was create a series of fills here, you can see. Now to get this fill, I'm going to drag this off, and you can see that there's two objects there, and I'll click on there. So there's one here, and this is that filled region, yellow, solid fill, transparent, okay? And then this fill is the yellow wave, what I call the yellow wave. And all I did was set this on top of the other one here and snap it to there. Now what I do want to show you is the difference in transparency here. In other words, if I go into edit and I don't make this transparent, I make it opaque, apply, okay. Notice now the white background overrides the yellow. So in order for the background to show through, I have to go into edit type and make this transparent. Okay, so just to let you know. So this fill pattern affects these two things, okay, and then the line weight is the color of the line weight is determined by that line here. So you'll notice also that I made a black line light, so these different kind of conditions of light, because what I'm trying to show here is that here is a darker yellow, which is full light, and then it strikes this stainless steel mesh screen, and the transmittance is 20%. So then the light diminishes down to 20% of the original light. And then I have a window wall who has a transmittance or a solar heat gain coefficient of 0.45 or 45%. And so the light is even further reduced. So the amount of light to heat up the building is reduced. Also lighting for daylighting. And you can see I calculated that 9% of the light is transmitted through the screen and glass. So after it goes through those things, only 9% of the light exterior, which actually will be enough to daylight the building and give it control and not a whole lot of glare. Notice other things that I did is I set lines in here for the different times of the year, the equinoxes, the summer solstice, and the winter solstice here. And then I put in a series of dotted lines. All those are, okay, so if we go into annotation, but when I go into detail lines, then what we have here, different lines that we can draw, and then of course of different line styles. And you'll notice I created a yellow line style right down here. How do you create a line style? Well, to create a line style, what you do is you go into Manage here, and then you'll see additional settings. And right here, you'll see a whole list of different settings. And this is just, you can see material assets, fill patterns. You can create your own fill patterns. A little difficult to do, but you can do it. You'll see line weights down here, line styles, line patterns. So you can make dotted lines, dashed lines, center lines, or whatever. Halftone underlays. You can define arrowhead types. You can change any or all of those. And so what I'm going to do is go into line styles real quick. And you'll see, if I click on lines here, you'll see all the existing lines. And then down here, I created a yellow line and changed the color. And it's 1, and it's a solid. So you can come in and create all your different types of lines that you would like to annotate your drawings with. Basically, you can see the notations that I did. I said this is direct sunlight, and that's the reason I put the wave on it, so that it would distinguish it from where the light is diffused. This is direct light, right? Both here and here. I put the, like I said, the summer solstice lines right here, so you can see this hole in the screen pretty much shade it during the summer, but as we get down into March, still pretty good, but in winter it doesn't, so the direct light comes in. But fortunately it's really low and it doesn't get very far into the building. Put a little desk in here to show that if the desk is no closer than this to the window wall, then the direct light won't get on to the desk. Then, of course, if this is direct light, I labeled it. This would get us full light. In other words, we're going to get full light up to about 18 feet, full daylight. And then we're going to get partial daylight because all the daylight that's here is going to be bounced in some way. And I really don't have a bouncing system in here, like a light shelf or something like that to bounce the light back, or a mirror or some kind of design element. I'm just using the reflective tendency. So there's up to 25 feet we're going to get partial daylight. In other words, all the way back here to the wall, basically. And of course I could put lines in here to show that. I put the names of the spaces in here just so the people could orient themselves. And you'll notice right here, if I say lease space, what I did is I changed the room tag and turned off the number. So I made a duplicate room tag and turned off the number, so it just gave. Then I put down here I put a title, because I'm going to use this title rather than this, construction documents title, and I made a 1/4 inch Arial title. Let's see, I checked bold right here, and then here I even changed the font. So if you want to change the font, you'll notice right here this is sans serif. So I created a type that was sans serif and made it a little bit larger, 3/16 inch. The background is transparent. I also put a couple of dimensions in here that I thought might be critical. For instance, how high this opening is in the screen so that we can see through it. If I bring up the building ISO, you remember I made an opening right here so that people could get a view without any screen on it. that's what I did here, create a basic analysis of the daylighting and shading conditions that I've designed.